Do you believe your beliefs are truly your own? Or could they be carefully curated echoes of what others want you to think? Today, we're going to dissect the echo chamber effect, the invisible, psychological, social, and algorithmic forces that quietly script your worldview. And most of the time, you don't even feel it happening, baby. You just wake up believing that sculpture was always you. Welcome back to Planting Thoughts. I want you to think of this episode today not as planting a seed, but let's check the soil out, right? What grows in your mind starts with the conditions around it, your digital environment, your social circles, and your identity groups. Think church, politics, etc., right? By the end of this episode, you won't just see the cage most people live in, you'll start noticing the hinges on the door. Social media can somehow feel like a window into the world, but it's not. It's just a mirror, guys, and a distorted one at that, tilted to show what keeps you looking. Behind every feed is a recommendation, an algorithm designed for one purpose: your engagement. Not truth, not accuracy, not your long term well being. Just what will keep you here for one more scroll. Think of it like a waiter who only notices which foods make your eyes widen and then brings you only those foods forever, baby, even if you get heartburn. Now, these systems track micro behaviors, right? How long you stare at something, what you replay, which comment you expand on, what you like. Studies analyzing billions of interactions on Facebook show that personalized feeds can amplify ideologically aligned content while filtering out opposing information. Now, what this means is the algorithm is basically removing things you don't click on, right? Things you don't want to see, right? And it will flood you with things of more of what you want to see, right? The echo chamber. It's like walking into a library and the shelves rearrange themselves while you browse, right? Until the only books left are the ones that agree with you. Confirmation bias, baby. And that's when the walls go up, right? Not suddenly, but brick by brick, right? You click one political video and the platform thinks, ooh, more of that. Yes, please. Then more. And soon your reality hallway, it's filled with only voices that echo each other. And here's the scary part. You don't even realize the walls are closing in because it's you that's doing the silent closing. Now, the confirmation bias trap. We can't blame robots alone. Our brains add fuel to the fire through this thing we call the confirmation bias. This tendency to prefer information that supports what we already believe in, right? It's like believing in one sort of political system and then only watching news stations that align with that political news system. For instance, Republicans or conservatives are going to only watch Fox News, Newsmax, stuff like this, while liberals might look at something like MSNBC, right? Think progress, whatever. And what this does is it's your brain giving a high five to anything that makes you feel right and side eye anything that makes you feel wrong. Psychologists have documented this for decades. I mean, we're talking decades. We're wired to avoid contradictory information because historically, disagreeing with the group, it gets you isolated. And isolation means danger, right? I mean, you don't want to be running from that saber-toothed tiger alone. You want to be able to face that dude with a bunch of your homies. Now, modern research shows that seeing information that aligns with our beliefs activates reward circuits in the brain. Your brain treats being right like a tiny hit of chocolate or cocaine. And social media weaponizes this. Every like, every comment, every facts reply becomes another dopamine pellet. You read something that proves the other side is clueless. You feel validated, right? You click, you share, the algorithm sees the spike in your reaction and then sends more of the same. You think you're researching, you're actually self soothing. You're building a fortress of ideas that feel good, not necessarily ideas that are true, but they feel good. Silo, baby. Now, what's the triad of control here? Media, politics, and religion. Now let's zoom out on these powerful identity shapers. These don't just influence what you think, they influence who you think you are. And once identity gets involved, logic goes right out the door, right? It becomes an optional byproduct to your sort of overall political identity at that point, right? Or religious identity at that point. And modern politics is less about facts and more about tribalism. It's just us versus them, good versus evil, truth versus lie. It's basically sports teams with legislation. Research in social psychology shows how group identity can override personal judgment. The group tells you what to think, right? And your job becomes defending the team. Political buzzwords become triggers, not because of logic, but because of conditioning, right? One side says woke, the other side says patriots. You feel something before you think something. It's like your brain has shortcuts labeled cheer for this, boo this. No thinking required. Yeah, baby. Now, look, religion, this can be a source of meaning and community. I know a lot of people who get a lot of really sort of positive encouragement and enrichment through the religion. But it can also, depending on the environment, create one of the oldest echo chambers known to humanity. When question becomes a moral violation, when doubt becomes rebellion, critical thinking turns into a script rehearsal. It's the difference between like believing because it, I don't know, feels true and believing because you get in trouble if you don't. This isn't about abandoning faith. It's about making sure that faith is yours. And the problem is everyone thinks they're right. Conflicts galore, baby. Now, what are you going to do if you want to protect your own sort of thought garden, right? How do you grow original ideas in a world full of noise? Well, you start with silence. True silence. Not podcast on in the background silence, unless it's planted thoughts, baby. Not scrolling through comments during lunch, silence, right? Psychological research shows that boredom, the uncomfortable kind, can actually stimulate creativity. In studies, participants who performed dull tasks later generated more creative ideas, right, than those who stayed stimulated the whole time. It's almost like your brain needs blank space the way your lungs need oxygen. When you cut the noise, you notice something strange, right? At first, the echo chamber inside your head gets louder. You replay comments. You look and think about the same opinions. You replay the same memes, arguments. But if you stay long enough, those echoes are going to fade. And what's left? That's you. Now, treat your mind like a private garden. Build a fence, not to keep people out, but to keep junk out. When a new idea shows up, ask it for ID. Is this true? Is this helpful? Or is this just loud? Don't let every random stranger wander into your mental living room. That's the takeaway here. Now, silence protects your inner world, but online, you still need the tools to break the algorithmic glass, if you will, right? And here are a few practical strategies. Steel man opposing views. Don't look at the weakest version of the other side. Find their best arguments. Don't judge a movie by its worst clip on TikTok or one of my podcast videos. Deliberately diversify your source. Number 2, read one outlet you normally roll your eyes at. Not to convert necessarily, but to understand. Your arguments are going to be made better just by understanding the other side. It's not about turning you into a convert, right? It's about understanding. That way you can have good dialogue. Number 3, use private browsing when researching. I know we've had some weird stuff going on about incognito mode, but incognito mode is supposed to stop people from seeing what you're doing online. Now, it doesn't necessarily make you invisible, but it prevents your curiosity from becoming a permanent part of your algorithmic identity. So whatever it does, at least it does that. It's like walking into a store without them adding your preferences to the mailing list. Don't give them your phone number when they ask. Of course they don't have your number. Of course you didn't log a number with them. That's stupid, unless you want that 2% discount, please. Number 4, starve outrage content. Outrage is one of the easiest ways for algorithms to hook you in, to put their claws right into your sides. So you need to starve it, scroll past it. You don't comment, you don't hate watch, you don't feed the digital trolls. They come back stronger every time anyway. Leave them alone. Let them shout into the void. This isn't about abandoning your beliefs. It's about owning them. It's about making sure what you believe is the product of reflection, not repetition. For the next 24 hours, try a simple experiment. When a post triggers you, anger, excitement, outrage, right? I want you to take a pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Hold for 4 seconds, let out for four, hold for four. Ask, who benefits from me feeling this way? You might be surprised by the answer. If this episode nudged your thinking, please subscribe and share it with someone, maybe someone you disagree with. Those are the best conversations. Until next time, keep planting those thoughts, keep tending your garden, and remember, the most valuable real estate you own is the space between your ears. It's your brain, baby. Keep it healthy, keep it strong, and keep it yours. Later.